Tired of the silence, the sugar-coated lies. Another headline screaming behind vacant eyes. They build up their walls so high and so strong, but the truth's gonna break through before too long. Every single day, the same damn old game, pointing all the fingers, nobody takes the blame. This pressure's building, it's starting to crack. Ain't no turning back now, ain't no holding back. I'm about to say it, yeah, I'm about to scream. Tired of the fake smiles, living in a dream. The real life's bleeding out in the cold. Gotta break the mold, gotta let it unfold. I'm about to say it, every single word. The uncomfortable truth finally gonna be heard. I'm gonna say it.
Good morning, everybody. Demetrius, one-time supreme. What's good, my brother? What's good with you? Thank you for joining. Hashtag I'm going to say it. Let's get this out the way.
Female voice. Welcome to hashtag I'm Gonna Say It. All things said in today's show are alleged and for entertainment and educational purposes only. If you are below the age of 18, we request that you leave the live now. Enjoy.
Happy 4th of July to everybody. And I, in advance, would like to pray for safety over each and every one of you that will be out celebrating today. Please, no drinking and driving. Happy 4th to you, love. Thank you for joining me. No drinking and driving. Please be careful with fireworks, okay? And I know a lot of people say, well, or might be thinking, this goes without saying. We already know that. And that's true. I'm sure we all do. However, I do also feel that a lot of times we get lullabied into becoming complacent or thinking that, well, that couldn't happen to me. That won't happen to me. And it very, very easily can. So it is my prayer that you all are safe, your families are safe, and things of that nature, right? So I want to say that. I want to pray for that over you all. All right, let's get down to business because, like I said, I know you all got some things you got to do today. I got to get ready for our events today. So, and I'm coming at you late already as it is. I was taking care of some shirt orders. But we're here now, and we're going to get started. I'm sure a great deal of us, when it came to the verdict that was rendered against Puffy Jacket, a great deal of us had a WTF moment. Some were happy, some were happy, some were happy about it, but there were several who had a WTF moment, right? Well, finally, an alternate of a juror alternate takes us into the mind of how they reached that conclusion or verdict that they did. And so I think we should play that just to get a little idea of what the jurors were thinking. Okay, and hopefully that will help close that WTF mentality or moments that we had. Listen, I'm not saying good or right or wrong. Here's what I'm saying. It'll give us a better idea of what they were going on. I'm not saying we all are going to agree with what he's saying. I'm just saying that we finally have some intel on on how the jurors were thinking. Let's go.
Joining me now is an alternate juror who was in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. George is joining us right now. This was 7 weeks of your life, hearing all of this testimony. You were an alternate. You did not deliberate, but did you agree with the final verdict?
I understood the final verdict, and I think if I, because I took a copious amount of notes overall. I think 350 pages worth of notes. Because at the end, we weren't told who was an alternate, who was the main juror until literally the last second when they were reading when the judge was reading his entire statement at the end. It was like the first 12 are the jurors, the last 5 are the alternates. So we didn't know, even in the jury room, no one treated everyone, we all were equal because we didn't know who was who.
Would you have acquitted him on RICO?
I think reading all my notes and looking back at the evidence, I probably would have reached the same conclusion as the other jurors.
What was it about that charge?
I don't, the thing with when it, because we were asked and the judge had instructed us that we have to find, we have to find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Mm-hmm. And I think there was always a little bit of doubt in people's mind. And I think it was a tough case to prove, especially the first one. And, there was always a little bit of doubt there, even from the beginning.
Why did you doubt?
I think some of the charges, some of the witnesses, if you look at it
Let's
one
get
way,
cheeky
but then
with it. Welcome
when you
in,
listen
Bess.
to the defense,
How are you feeling?
you could see it their way as well.
Were there any
So,
witnesses that made you think, I don't believe this?
There was one that I think unanimously we kind of all said like, wow, like it was almost like watching like TV. It was like like when I think her name was Dawn Richard, that one. Mm-hmm. When she on cross-examination, I mean, I never saw such a cross-examination. It was very
Happy
impressive.
4th to you. I'm glad you're feeling
What was
good.
it about it?
You got any plans for today?
I think just how the defense, got into her and really made her, look very not credible. I mean, I even wrote in my notebook that it was like a takedown.
Really? And that was
Yeah.
pretty early on.
That was pretty early on.
From the opening statements, did you have a mindset of who you thought had a better case?
No. I think overall, from the way I look at it, both sides presented really good. Both sides presented themselves well. We were very impressed with the prosecution and the defense, how they, the professionalism, how they carried themselves. I mean, it was really good lawyering, as they say.
Racketeering is
Okay,
notoriously
barbecue
a
at home with the
complex
family.
case.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Did you
We're going to
feel
the square.
That the
up to
prosecution
Town Square.
presented enough
And,
evidence to
Watch
support
fireworks.
that there was even an enterprise?
That's all.
I think they did the best that they could, but I think it was a tough case to prove.
Why?
I mean,
so
when you
this
look at
here-
the charges,
This here is he was an alternate juror, right? So he's given us what made them come up with the decision or verdicts that they did, and 'cause like I said, I know a lot of us had a WTF state of mind when it came out. So he's just giving us insight on what they were thinking and how they got to the verdict that they did.
is kidnapping, arson, forced labor.
We love TikTok
the
shop.
government had one side, but then the defense, they had some pretty good rebuttals to it. So I mean that I think added some doubt always, and I think in people's mind.
You didn't hear from some of the people the government said were co-conspirators, like employees
Like
of,
Christina Karam and
for example, or
D-Rock,
D-Rock.
yeah.
Did that affect your thoughts about the case?
I don't think so, no.
Would you have wanted to hear from them?
We always thought that maybe we would hear from them, but maybe we also understood maybe why they wouldn't be called.
Why?
Rap
Because
God
maybe
Thanos,
they
welcome
didn't
in,
wanna
my brother. How you
testify,
doing?
or they wouldn't really be proving the case, or maybe it would be not advantageous to be called. So, but honestly, we were just waiting till the end, until when the judge gave his instructions and how to interpret the law. Because I think
not gonna lie,
everyone
I am
really
as
didn't
well.
have
Let's get cheeky
anything made
with
up.
it. I'm
Their
still
mind
lost.
made up
I
or
don't understand.
in any way. It was really, everyone was waiting to see how the definitions
making
and
it
how
in,
everything
brother.
was going to be interpreted and what they were to be
We're
looked
listening
at.
to one of the
Exactly.
alternate jurors.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the
Explain
sex trafficking
how they
cases
got
because
to
of court
their verdict.
charges. obviously Cassie Ventura testified visibly pregnant for days.
Yes.
How did her testimony impact
Lauren
you in your
says,
understanding
welcome in,
of the
Lauren.
case?
She said, so one witness
It
out of
did- you know,
34
I
was
listened,
incredible,
you know, we
and
listened
that was
very
enough for a guilty
intently.
verdict.
It was, I think, 5 days or
It-
forever of
You
it.
got a good point there.
And,
I
you know, it's
have,
very riveting.
I have
And it was
no
very
arguments
riveting
about that.
testimony.
You're right.
And very credible
June
testimony.
said he shouldn't
You
be
believed
allowed
her.
to do these
I
things.
mean, I think
people
I think
again.
we did.
I agree with you,
I
June.
think we did.
And welcome
I mean,
in, June.
She wouldn't have done all this just to come up there and you know, lie
Lauren
about
said, hey,
everything. So no.
Thank you. My
I don't
first
think
time
anyone
here.
even-
Well,
no one
welcome
even
in,
the
and I hope you
defense
enjoy
didn't,
it, Lauren.
Didn't come out and say it or anything like
Grand
that.
Rising, little
Did
brother.
the money that they talked about in terms of a civil settlement she received, did that color her testimony for you at all?
I don't think so. No. I don't think so. No.
Demetrius says, I think he's being paid to soften the leather jacket for his homecoming. Lauren says, scary world we live in. I have to agree with you. June says, hello to everyone and happy 4th. Happy 4th to you as well. And again, for those that are just coming in, if you are going out, look, even if you're staying home, we do want to pray that you all are safe because anything could happen. You know, drunk driving, firework, mishaps. So I am praying in advance over you and your family for safety, peace, blessings, happiness. It's just safety for sure.
No.
Did you look at the defendant, Diddy Combs, differently after her testimony?
No, I didn't really look at him too much. I mean, I always looked at him because my point of view was just literally at him, like some people were on the side, but I was more in the corner. So I was always like staring at him. But
Thank
I
you
don't
for that
think
goat, little brother.
he was
I
mostly just
appreciate
very
you.
composed and talking with his lawyers.
Thank you for the gift.
Very in control, it seemed like. You know, because I think I mean, I'm not really familiar too much with cases, and I don't really follow, you know, cases in court, so I don't know how defendants usually act. But sometimes what I've heard in you know, from the news is that some defendants, you know, they just sit very stoically. They don't interact with their lawyers. They just let their lawyers talk and go. But he was very, you know, talking with them, writing notes, doing that. So you could tell that he, you know, he was. You know, he was fighting for himself.
You saw some very graphic images, videos. You heard very sexual and graphic
We love TikTok Shop.
details. What
TikTok
was that
Shop
like,
is amazing.
hearing that? And how did it impact how you viewed the case?
No, they were very graphic, and but I think overall, you know, we were looking at it from like one side, and it was definitely riveting and eye opening.
What did you see on the videos? You know, the press wasn't able to see it in real time.
Yeah. No, I mean they were showing some of the. Well, I mean there was both the freak offs and
Goddamn,
hotel
the
nights, as they were
TikTok Shop
called,
got in my
both of them.
pockets.
But it was.
What did they show in those videos?
Yeah, they be catching me
They
sometimes
showed,
too. I ain't
well,
gonna lie.
again, you know, the defense and the prosecution showed different clips, so they were very selective.
Little brother said, I found all. What did you
Like
say?
the prosecution was showing
I found
more,
all of my
you
household
know,
and entertainment
just
needs on
Cassie
TikTok
just
Shop.
sitting around.
The defense showed that.
Defense showed that, yeah.
Just her sitting around
Demetrius
not
said they
engaging
got
in
the
sexual
tapes.
activity.
He is free to go now.
Yes.
The prosecution,
served,
you had to have your
crazy.
headphones on. Otherwise,
Yeah.
what were you
Yeah.
seeing then?
There was
Stick around for
sexual
segment
activity,
two.
but I mean it wasn't really.
This other person
Was it
has
forced?
a theory
No,
of
it
what
didn't.
could
It
happen.
didn't seem forced. It was actually like pretty.
Hold on, let me pause this real
Tame.
quick 'cause I wanna
Really?
say something.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be on. Oh, let me say this too, because as I was starting up, some news was coming in, so I want to say this. My family, my thoughts and prayers go out to Big Boy's family. Allegedly, I haven't had a chance to check in on it, but allegedly, his uncle was found unalived here in Atlanta. So I pray for him. You know, we're pretty close with that. My manager in wrestling is his big brother, so I want to make sure that we send the family our thoughts and prayers, and we will keep up on it more and see what's going on. Of course, living here, I'm pretty sure we should hear more about it. And I want to say this too, and then I get back to the audio. It's been crazy since the verdict has been rendered, and there's people who I've seen it where it's one lady who's saying she was afraid for her life to testify. They called it the Black Diddy trial. I don't know what that meant, but in any event, she said that she was afraid to testify. She was afraid for her life. That's why she didn't testify. It came across the wire that one of Kim Porter's friends, close friends, is now speaking. I haven't paid attention to it, but we're gonna follow. We'll try to keep up with it and see what's going on. Right, Natty, welcome in, bestie. Let's get cheeky with it. Yeah. I feel sorry for him. I don't know everything, so I'm definitely gonna try to keep an eye out on it. But I wanted to, of course, like I said, bring the news. Thank you for the heart, me. I appreciate that, Natty. That's what we do here. So it's all new. Try to cover all news. So.
Did she?
It was just a lot of rubbing oil and stuff on there. It wasn't anything too graphic. I would say.
Let me ask you. This jury that deliberated did not find sex trafficking when it came to Cassie Ventura. They also didn't find it when it came to Jane. And I'm going to ask you about Jane in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But did it surprise you when it came to Cassie Ventura that they did not convict
Hey, thank
on
you for
sex
that. Go
trafficking?
popular, Natty.
No, I think it was a difficult thing to prove, and I think there was always some doubt, whether because I think what the judge says it has to be forced.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the defense did show some messages where it didn't seem that it was forced.
Oh, her text messages when she talked about it.
Yeah.
That was really important to you to consider.
I think that was one aspect. Yes.
Did that make you feel that it was consensual?
It did seem like it. Yeah.
Talk to me about Jane.
Even in the videos and everything seemed very consensual.
Really?
Yeah.
How about with Jane? Obviously, she testified for several days, very emotional at times.
It was, yeah.
What did you think of her credibility? Did you
Thank
believe
you for
her?
that follow.
I think
Who was that?
it was very
Jennifer
again riveting.
Hernandez, thank you for the follow.
Testimony. And
Welcome in, Rochelle. How you doing, bestie?
I did believe her, at least on some parts. Some parts were a little bit didn't add up as much. Seemed a little strange.
What part seemed strange to you?
One part for me that seemed a little strange was the night, I think, when Jane was in, when they had the fight.
Yeah.
It just, the timing seemed a little like you going from like one closet to another closet to it just, something didn't add up there.
How about the impact when you heard that her rent was being paid or her lawyer is being paid by
I didn't
the defendant?
understand
Did that surprise you?
That was surprising, yeah, and it was still being paid.
What did you think? when you
Gina,
heard that?
good morning. No,
Wow,
good afternoon. I'm
wow,
late. I'm sorry. I'm doing a later show. Good afternoon. Yes, that
I
was
want to
off,
ask you
but still,
as
she
well
could have been running for
about. I mean,
safety.
obviously, I'm talking about Diddy as if I know him. Like we know his name because he's
Yeah.
this very famous person. Did the fact that he was so famous, did that impact you in any way? Did you know him?
No, I did not know him.
Do you know his music at all?
No, I don't. I didn't really listen to his music.
So seeing him was just a stranger.
Pretty much. I mean, I know of him, and I know, but I don't really follow his music or the rap industry in general. So that might have been why I think a lot of the jurors, I think if you look at their backgrounds, I don't think they were, they didn't follow this or that. I mean, that's probably why they were chosen. I was never expected to be chosen, to be honest.
Yeah? Well,
I wasn't even looking for this at all.
Who would be,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But let me ask you, the other jurors, when you would talk to them, I know you weren't allowed to deliberate at all in this, but when
Yeah.
you talked to them, were they familiar with who he was? Did his celebrity status seem to impact them at all?
No, I don't think so. No, I think everyone was really waiting for the interpretation of the law, And
Is that because you were confused about the case or because you just wanted to know your marching orders?
I think we wanted to know our marching orders and how we need to look at everything. You know, I think we were really, I think, at
Hey,
least
good morning,
for
Just
me,
Ann.
we
How
tried
you
to
doing,
once
Bestie?
be, and we are asked to be as impartial as
Happy
as
4th.
possible. So
Be safe,
we needed
please.
to know,
Be
you hear
safe.
both sides of, one side, the other side. And it's very important to know what we're actually supposed to be, ruling at and how we're supposed to be looking at it from the judge.
There was a juror who was excused close to the end of the trial. What did you know about that and why?
We were
Welcome in,
told,
big bro.
What happened. I mean, I
Happy
think
4th to you.
I
Make sure
think,
you safe as
someone
well.
Maybe had. I think someone had mentioned that it was. I think he lied about where he was from or something like that. But really, we were kind of kept in like isolation from the whole day. Not really told much. Told to not follow any news or turn
Welcome
off
in,
everything.
Carol Watts.
Don't talk to anyone. Don't talk among yourselves about the case.
J&C
which
Moore,
we
welcome
followed.
in.
We really followed the judge's instructions. At least I did too.
So
I
when
think
that
that's
person,
Daniel
myself.
Garfield.
Yeah,
welcome in. Welcome
when that
in.
person was no longer in the chair after seeing them there for 7 weeks on end, or however many weeks it
This
was in
is
at that point,
Hold on, let me
did you
pause
think
real
it was
quick.
odd? Did you?
We're listening to an alternate juror, and he is giving us an exclusive on how they reached the verdict that they did. So he's letting us know what they were thinking, stuff like that. What didn't seem valid enough to convict him of the things that they didn't convict him of. So he's just taking us into the jury room, basically, and into the mind of what they were thinking and how they saw things.
Do you have concerns?
No. I mean, that's why they have, they call 18 people, because then they knew it was a long case, and there's probably going to be someone's going to get sick or someone's going to drop out. So that's why. So,
Would you have wanted to hear Diddy testify? Would it have made a difference to you?
Listen to this.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
No.
It wouldn't
this
have made a
ain't it.
difference
This will
because
come in a minute.
he didn't.
Demetrius
it wouldn't
says
have added
Jacket
to
will be
your
out by
understanding, or
December or
because
October and seek
you'd heard
Secret
enough?
Revenge. Nino Brown, 2025, Unreal.
I think
Right,
we-
the
we
new
heard
Jack
enough.
City, right?
I don't think.
Exactly.
I don't know if it
I
would
think
have
so.
helped or hindered. I
But
haven't really
like I said,
thought about that
segment
as
two,
much.
we're gonna
Yeah.
But I think we're
gonna
really
listen to a
helpful again
possible
in the end, at least for what we were looking forward to. What I was looking forward to the
alternate
most
theory.
was just the 61-page judge instructions of how we're supposed to be charged the law.
They did find him guilty of those transportation to engage in prostitution charges. The prosecution was being very sarcastic and laughing at the idea that these men were just being paid for their time. How did you see that statement?
You mean the defense?
Well, the prosecution said that, well, yes, you're right. The defense said that they were being paid for the time. The prosecution was mocking that. Who did you believe?
No, I think the evidence to show that there was the transportation of prostitution, I think was overwhelming, and that's why the jury
Natty said, unfortunately,
found
I
him
agree.
guilty on
Natty,
those,
by the way,
two counts.
I got the shirt.
If you had been...
Because the prosecution not only they showed the hotel records, the bank records, the flight information. For that, I think that they proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt.
If for some reason you were to ever talk to Diddy, what would you tell him about how you saw this trial?
Yeah, I
To be
got
honest,
it.
I
Press
really
it up,
wouldn't
then I
want
have it shipped your way.
to talk to him or anyone associated with that. I just wanted to kind of tell my side of the story, but I really wouldn't
Good
want
morning,
to.
Chrissy. Good afternoon, Chrissy. Sorry,
associate
I started
with,
late.
with him or any
Thank
of
you
the
for that
other
heart,
people that
me.
are
I
with him.
appreciate it, Chrissy.
Can I ask you one more question?
How are you
It's
doing?
About the video from the Intercontinental Hotel that you saw
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah, it was.
Was it a? Did
Because
you
they
see
did it. Sometimes they did it like frame by frame by frame.
What did you think of that? Did you see it enough? Too much? Too little? What?
I mean, it was a very bad video. I think they showed it. I think they showed it enough. I mean, they tried to show it both sides, and
Did it make a difference to you? in the
Bessie,
actual
hey Marie, how you
charges that
doing?
would have had
Good
to
afternoon to you.
deliberate
I'm so used to
over?
saying good
Because
morning.
he wasn't charged with.
he wasn't
violence
charged
alone.
with domestic violence. No.
Did that surprise you?
No, because I don't think domestic violence is a federal crime. So
Did it
Chris,
cloud
I
the way
just
you
woke
saw
up.
the
It's
rest of
morning
the
for
charges?
me. I feel you on
By
that.
seeing that video?
no, I think we looked at just what we were supposed to be, what the judge had said we were supposed to look at, and then based off of the evidence that was presented to us, they ruled in that way.
Do you think he should go to prison?
That's for the judge to decide. I mean, he was found guilty on both counts. So we're the sentencing is not up to us. And not up to me. It's up to the judge, who was by the way, we were all impressed with the judge and how he was. So that the jury, I can't speak for the jury because I was an alternate, but I think we all really much liked the judge on this case. We found him to be very fair, very stern. He was no nonsense, but the way he conducted himself, at least from what we saw, because again, we only saw the beginning, and they always had, when they had sidebars, they would have the white noise, so couldn't actually hear what's being discussed. But we were always impressed with the judge.
Hundreds of pages of notes, weeks of trial. Thank you for telling us what you were thinking.
No problem. Thank you.
Joining me now is an alternate.
I have to say, the judge was fair. I do think, as far as how he carried. Keon, what's up with you? G Smooth, I just found you wanted $50K from Cassie. That's what started everything. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Send me some info on that, please. I like to see it. But as I was saying, I think the judge did an outstanding job at conducting everything, or how court facilitated, how the trial facilitated. I think he did great on that. I think he was fair on both sides as far as when it came to objections and stuff like that. I think he was fair. But now that we heard the juror tell us what they made the verdict, or what led them to their verdict. Again, I'm not saying everybody's going to agree with it. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying I disagree with it. I'm just trying to say that hopefully that gives us at least a better understanding at what they were coming from and what was lacking in order for them to get there, right? However, now, I've never heard of this content creator before, but I came across his video, and he gives an interesting perspective on how things could go going forward. All right? He gives an interesting perspective. And another thing that I pretty much came to find out in his video is that he's being fair. He's calling it down the middle as far as there's some things that that he agrees with and feels that he was being wronged on. And then he's also telling us why he thinks, it's just his theory, not right or wrong, doesn't mean it's for sure going to happen. But yes, Natty, especially for his first federal trial, he did really, really good. I have to give him that. And the content creator we're about to hear, his name is Jesse on Fire. And I know him and his wife, he said him and his wife have, I'm not going to say that, but they have their own podcast too. And I don't know if I can say that, so I won't, because TikTok may flag me. So, but in any event, let's listen to what he says his theory is. And again, I want to emphasize this is just his theory, his point of view on what he thinks. Okay, this is not saying this is concrete what's going to happen, just saying his perspective. All right. I want to get that out there. Thank you for the let him cook. I appreciate that, Natty. Thank you. I want to make sure we get that out there. However, some of the things that he states, correct, Natty, his POV, his point of view, that's all this is. But some of the points that he makes is definitely something we've already discussed, something we already know. It's just one of those things where when you hear other people saying the quiet part out loud, and you can see somebody who actually understands what we've been talking about, it's I don't know, I don't even know what word it is, because like I told you before, a lot of people still don't believe it. They still don't believe there's no society that's running and pulling the industry and pulling strings behind the scenes. They still don't believe it. But, and as we stated before, I digress on that. I'm not gonna spend more time on that. It's just Grams, baby. How you doing? Good morning. Good afternoon. I keep saying good morning. I'm sorry. Good afternoon. Thank you for that heart, me love. I appreciate it. Natty says, "Hey, did you move up a league? Congrats. I don't know what it means, but yeah, I didn't even know I did move up. But yeah, so it's a different. They have like a scale thing. It's a different brackets. It's from 1 to 5. I think 5 D5 is like the lowest. But you know, as you go up and you get more engagements in your lives, you get more gives. You know, it's just when your platform is doing better, you get to move up. Once your platform meets certain goals, you get to move up. And so I didn't know that, but thank you, and thank you all for allowing me to do or helping me do that. You know, it's just Graham says it's still morning here. You're lucky. You're lucky. MP2MP, I haven't seen you in a while. She says they never will, unfortunately. You're right. They just won't. Some people just refuse to get it. And it's a shame. It's a shame because it's out there. It's in the face. It's in their face, but you're right. I thought it said D League before now. You show as C League. Yeah, so that means we leveled up. So and again, that all goes to our viewers, our supporters, and thank you for even getting us there. See, I didn't even know that. So I appreciate it. Thank you all so much. It's just Graham says, what's cooking today? Okay, so we just finished segment 1 of the show, and it was basically we had a alternate juror that was in the Diddy trial, and he just gave us insight on how they reached their verdict, what made them get to what they got to, and certain things that were said and that were the videos that was played that they saw that led them to the verdicts that they did as far as not finding him guilty on the bigger charges, right? Oh, that jury has me so upset. Yeah, many people are definitely upset by that. MP says trying to take breaks and limit myself. I get it. It was a lot for a lot of people. It was a lot for a lot of people. It definitely brought out some character in people or characteristics in people that I never thought they had. But at the same time, you know, that's what it is. Keon says, so now we going against the jury. I haven't heard anybody necessarily say they're going against the jury. I just heard she just stated that she's upset at him, and I can understand that. I could understand that because, like I told you, Keon, anybody else probably would have had those charges stuck on them for sure. You know, but now we're going to go transition into segment 2. I know he wanted. I think he comes in here just to do that, but you know, I can't You know, he's entitled to his opinion, and he can have that. But yeah, I can't spend time delegating on that. You know, it happened how it happened, and like I do stick to, if it was an average Joe going through the same thing, they probably would have gotten those charges stuck on him. I do know why he didn't get them. And we've even said that. I think Keon may have missed that. We've even said that before in the show, that if the powers that be are only trying to teach him a lesson, we said he'd get off. However, he's not all. I mean, he's still charged with something, but not as much as he should have. But we knew that if they were just trying to teach him a lesson, then he wouldn't face everything. You see what I'm saying? But if they were indeed and in fact done with him across the board, and then he would have gotten those charges to stick. It would have stuck. But like I said, and Keon, I told you this yesterday. Natty, thank you for that. Let him cook. I appreciate it. I didn't see it, but thank you. Thank you. Like I told you the other day, brother, it's not over for him because lawsuits are still being filed. And in saying that, little brother said at Keon, incorrect, sir. He said the court has spoken. Not, you know what? Let's just get along. Let's move along to the second segment, because the court has spoken. You are correct, Keon. However, the court isn't finished speaking. You see what I'm saying? But let's just, I'm not going to say anymore. Let's get right to this, right? Let's go right into the second part. And like I said, this is just his POV.
Now, here's the reality. The fact that bail was denied, and with the explanation that the judge gave, there is only one possible scenario for why. And it goes beyond just someone made a phone call, okay? There's another case coming. There's another indictment coming. There has to be.
That's just a possibility, Keon. But it's a strong possibility. As I just told you, there are still lawsuits coming out, Keon. So I'm going to rewind that back just in case you didn't hear, and we'll start over.
Now, here's the reality. The fact that bail was denied, and with the explanation that the judge gave, there is only one possible scenario for why. And it goes beyond just someone made a phone call, okay? There's another case coming. There's another indictment coming. There has to be. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense, and I'll explain to you exactly why right now. All right, so I went live immediately upon finding out that Diddy had his bail denied. And what you got in that live stream?
Oh, and before I start, Keon, he actually sides with you as far as how those charges wasn't going to stick. So pay attention to him, because you can't say he's against you. He thinks the same thing you think. So listen. Right, Natty. Felonies is carrying a 10-year charge, isn't baby charge. Carrying 10 years isn't a baby charge. Yeah.
If you watched it, was just my immediate thoughts based on basically only the fact that I found out that they had denied his bail after obviously understanding what he had been convicted of. So I've had, 16 hours to sit and actually think a lot about this, about why I feel the way that I do, and why I believe that I have good thoughts here to share with everybody to make people understand why or how I think people should be looking at this. Okay. Now, when I'm going to do a video about something that I know a lot of my viewers will disagree with, I always feel like I need to try to connect with everybody who's watching, so that it's not just the people who agree with me that are like, yes, it's like, I'm trying to talk more to the people who feel another way about it. So that you can at least, you don't need to necessarily come out of this thing agreeing with me, but I just want you to understand where I'm coming from, because bottom line is, I've told you this. I've seen a video of this man beating up a girl.
Are you looking to establish?
That's not it. That's the commercial that they play. You know how they do.
Dude, I don't have sympathy for him and his, what happens to him. Now, obviously, if it turned out the only thing he's ever done is hit women, and they were like, oh, we're going to give him the electric chair, I might be like, whoa. Okay, hang on. Now, if he did this every single day, it was a constant thing, and he was constantly hurting people, I'm like, the only thing this guy exists to do is to hurt people, sure, whatever, but that's not what I'm talking about. Mostly what I'm telling you is I don't.
Hold on, y'all got some good conversation going on in live. I'm missing. Little brother said, Keon, that's the least amount. Or he get time served in October. Okay, that's the least amount. Natty said Keon thinks his behavior gonna get him an invite into the shady behavior. He's not gonna care about nobody that's rallying for him or supporting. Little brother says, Keon, why do I have the feeling you have a picture of Papa on your nightstand with a bottle of J&J? Listen, man, y'all are crazy, man. Y'all are so funny. Oh man, Keon says, I'm just a black man that know the law. I don't know about that. I don't want to argue. Okay, let me go on. I can't with Keon. Who said that? Was just yeah? It's just Graham said I can't with Keon. Keon says Diddy hater. Natty said to my little brother, my coffee just went everywhere. I know, right? I'm glad I just finished mine. He said facts is facts. Keon, I always say I'm not going to let you take me there. But I feel, like I said before, I feel like there is good in you. We just gotta pull it out. It's like an exorcism. We gotta pull it out, Keon, right? So again, when you say I know the law, and I say I don't think you do, allow me to delegate with you on what I mean by that, okay? When you say I know the law, I'm just a black man that know the law, I say no. Because if you knew the law, then you would know that any and all things that this man does, it's not based on the judge and what happens in court. It's based on a community of people who possess a lot of power. And some key figures in the entertainment industry are their puppets. Prime example, let me put it to you this way, because like he was just saying in the beginning, and he's going to tell you again, I think, I'm not sure. But anyways, what he's saying is there's somebody, yeah, he does explain it to you. So, Keon, this is what he's saying. So, there's people who control, that's got power, that controls everything in the operation of everything, right? Including this. And he even states, and you're going to hear, the Judge Submarinian was actually going to let Diddy out, we believe, right? You're right. The Mann Act is outdated, right? So this is where I need you to listen. I need you to and just listen for a minute, okay? You are correct. The Mann Act is outdated. However, and we'll hear about that too. However, in you saying that, if you know the law, and I mean the law of the elites, then you would know that he should have been released on that. If it was strictly based on just that, right? He would have been released. Hey, Bessie, how you doing, Liz? Good afternoon to you too. However, someone that sits in a higher position amongst the elite society told the judge, hey, don't let him out for nothing. If that judge likes making it home to his family, he's got to do, or he's going to do, what he is told to do. That's the law I said I don't think you know about. It's not the laws of physics. It's the laws of command and the laws of life amongst those people. Right. And he did have the convictions, and he still could have walked out of court with those convictions. They had they had $1 million ready to bond him out. He could have gotten out, even with those charges. Now, see, there you don't know the law. And I'm talking about the law. Because he could have bonded out. However, his actions before he was incarcerated, his actions while he was incarcerated, along with people in higher positions not wanting him to be released, caused him not to be released. It caused him to be denied bail for the 4th time. But just sit back and listen, get your bonbons. We're going to talk about what that could possibly mean and why he's not out. Hold on one second.
Don't have sympathy for Diddy specifically. That is not where any of this comes from. Where this comes from is an understanding of how societies are supposed to function, and where we get into extremely, extremely dicey territory. Okay, I actually think this is that big of a deal. Okay, I think this is that big of a deal because it's the exact same mechanism that was applied very recently within the last few years, which led to an outcome in the most recent election, which has had absolutely thermonuclear impact
Your
across
bonbons, your fluffy
the globe,
zippers,
right?
and
I
whatever
think it's
drink
pretty,
you can sip
you know,
on.
fair to
Right.
say that
Just
had the
sit back
election
and
gone the other
relax.
way, we would be in a very different world right now. Okay, obviously there are a lot of people who think that would be better, and most of us think that it would not be better. You know, but it's neither here nor there. Okay, because here is what's actually going on. So Diddy gets convicted of the Mann Act, which means transporting someone across state line.
I don't think you've been in this kind of case, but in any event, again, he could have been bonded out. I'm just telling you, the judge is saying he was going to let him go home. I don't think he would have initially thought about allowing him to go home if he couldn't be bonded out. I mean, if he couldn't get out. In fact, if there was no way of him getting out, Keon, a bond wouldn't have even been talked about. You get what I'm saying, homeboy? There's no way a bond would have even been talked about if everybody knew that the law is he still would have had to stay. What he got convicted for, he would have still had to stay in jail. There wouldn't have been no talks about a bond. Right, it was no bond. Let me see. Maybe hold on. Let me see. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Let me slow down. Okay, Keon. If the charges that he did get found guilty for, got found guilty of, or whatnot, if those things weren't even charges of him to be even qualified to get bond, he wouldn't have. His attorney wouldn't have even brought that up because he would have known that given what he was charged with, there is no bond. Nobody gets bond on that, is what I'm saying. Am I making sense? The reason why he didn't get bond is because the judge felt he was a danger to society, and is. But what I'm saying is, if there was what he got charged with, if there wasn't an opportunity for him to even get bond, it wouldn't have even have been a thought. You see what I'm saying? The judge wouldn't have even said, well, hey, okay, we're going to break now, and then we'll reconvene at 5, and then I'll tell you what my decision is. If there was no way for him to get that, then there's no way that it would have been no right then. Like, it wouldn't have even been asked about. Or, I mean, he wouldn't have even said, let me think about it. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, okay. Let me keep going. Let me keep going.
For the purpose of prostitution. Okay, he
Oh,
gets
we love
acquitted
TikTok Shop.
of sex trafficking. He gets acquitted of RICO, racketeering. Okay, so bottom line is, right, when he was being held absent bail, it was because he was facing life in prison. It was because he was a flight risk. He's this incredibly wealthy person and all of that stuff. And supposedly he might be tampering with witnesses. That's what they said. Okay. Now, I've said from the beginning that if you're not paying attention to why, what the origin of this case actually is, then you can't understand what you're really looking at, right? Because the origin of this case, no one is going to convince me that I'm wrong. Now, I'm not saying I know this for 1,000% certain, but what I'm saying is if you put my hand on the table and you're like, all right, this is like the scene in Casino, and we're going to break all your fingers in your hand if you're wrong, I would immediately say this is happening because of what happened between Diddy and Diageo.
Did we not say that? Have we not said that, people? Have we not said that he made the people at the adult beverage company mad? And he messed up the money between them and the United States. How many times have I told you all during shows that the United States makes good money off the adult beverage industry?
And me crying is happening because you haven't subscribed to my channel and you haven't liked this video yet, okay?
Never sue the other driver after.
Another commercial.
Hand that fed him in a way that you do not do, okay? You haven't liked this video yet, okay? Diddy bit the hand that fed him in a way that you do not do, okay? What these people are, these BlackRock guys, Vanguard guys, and I feel like I say these things and some people might not really understand what we're saying. We're not just talking about these people are wealthy, they're not wealthier than Diddy. These groups, Vanguard and BlackRock, own 95% of the Fortune 500 companies in the world. They own everything. Okay. They own everything. Now, I'm not saying they own it outright, but they are, the incredibly large shareholders in all of the biggest companies in the world. Okay. They run everything. Okay. Everything. If you own 10% of a Fortune 500 company, the influence that you have over that organization, you can't even exaggerate. I mean, you can't do anything without their say so. Okay. They have voting rights, all of that stuff. They're always on the board. They're always on the board of these companies, and they're kingmakers. Okay. That is what they are. That is why you see such consistent opinions from people who are in Hollywood, who are music artists, where you're like, where is someone who's willing to say this thing that seems very obvious? Like, as an example, that women should not be competing against men in sports. Like, where were all of the bigwig people just coming out against this that could have shut this down in 1 second? Where are all the big entertainers? They all have brains. And the reason why none of them say it is because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. It's the reason that they none of them came out against, these mandates. None of them came out against, this thing. None of them, right? And you're like, where are they? There's no way that there's none of them who don't, none of them have questions about this. It's because they don't want to step out of line with those guys, because those guys own Pfizer. Those guys own Moderna. Those guys own the entire process. Okay. We're talking about the exact same people. And those guys own Diageo, and they made Diddy into a king. All right. Bottom line, Diddy was made by these people. And Diddy had been a good partner to them throughout the last 25, 30 years, however long they had been in this partnership. Okay, so if you guys remember Ciroc Vodka, we're going to go over this really, really quickly so that we are all on the same page about what just happened yesterday. Okay, Diddy had made hundreds of millions of dollars through his partnership with Ciroc. Okay, and it was a revenue share. They had this vodka that wasn't doing very well. They put Diddy on. They're like, we don't know what to do with this thing. We'll split any profits that are generated above what we're doing right now, we'll split with you, right?
Facts, Demetrius.
It was like a throwaway thing because they're like, whatever, it's all upside for us. And Diddy crushed it so hard with that partnership that he ended up making hundreds of millions of dollars. They enabled that, okay? They are the ones who enabled
Smith,
that.
I would love to know
They get into a second partnership with him, but this time they co-own a tequila brand.
Women's sports.
Whatever, the details don't matter. Diddy gets upset with them. Okay, Diageo's a $100 billion company. He says whatever, blah, blah, blah. He writes to them, starts threatening them. He wants $100 million from them or else, blah, 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 but whatever. Details not really super relevant for this. He says, I'm going to cry racism and I'm going to burn the house down, okay? Now, I could get into why he said that. It's irrelevant. It was still a very dishonest. What could be more dishonest than calling a company that has made a black man into a billionaire, okay? That black man, he's a billionaire black man, and you're threatening to call them racist? What could be more dishonest than that? And then he actually did it, and he cost the company $22 billion in market value. Then they get into this lawsuit, they settle it January 2024, and his house gets raided 3 months later, okay? This is the direct result of that, in my opinion. No one's going to convince me otherwise. And now we find out what the outcome is, because bottom line is, okay, his bail being denied. Think about it like this, dude. The judge said this to him when he was when he got to the verdicts were read. The judge said, I assume that Mr. Combs doesn't want to go back to MDC Brooklyn, so he's intending on letting him go. Okay, then this is what happens. Okay, so let's talk about this.
Demetrius says, even if he gets out, I see a casino ending story in his future. I could see that. Here's the thing. The very first night, the night before they even gave out the verdict and stuff like that, and the lawsuit broke, news of a lawsuit being filed broke and came to light. Again, I say by Tony Busby being on it, you got to look at that with a side eye. But the fact of the matter is, when that lawsuit came out the night before the verdict was read, and the lady mentioned him raping, people that are not of age of consent. Let's put it that way. Regardless of it being true or not, I think that it was detrimental to him being released. I think it played a part because there's multiple ones. Keon said, G Smooth, why are you against Puff? Okay, I'm really not against anybody. I'm for if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's what I'm for. I'm not against him at all. I know some things he's done that he hasn't even faced any kind of repercussions for, and he skated on that. And I think that he was in a position to where he could have done better and chose not to. He chose himself over doing the right thing. And unapologetically, Keon, I just don't stand for that. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm the kind of guy who wants to help out anybody if I can. If I'm in position to help, I want to help. And so what I get from him, and understand, I was in the pro wrestling industry, and it's not too different from the music industry. But the thing about it is, whenever I was in a position to help someone, I helped them. Whenever I was around someone who I felt wasn't a good person, I alleviated myself from that situation. I didn't hang around them. And so we all have free will. And so with that being said, Keon, I look at it like he had free will. In fact, he had more of a free will given his position that he was in. And given that free will, he chose to do wrong. And so I feel like he deserves what he gets. That's where I'm at with it, brother. Thank you for the high bear. I appreciate that, Gina. Oh, and thank you for the hand heart. I appreciate it. Keon, you don't even want to bring up Vinnie Mac. Because if I tell you what I think about Vinnie Mac, I won't have a show anymore. And I don't defend Vinnie Mac. You clearly haven't been here long enough. Because I never would do that. And this was long before any of his dirt came out. Because you see, one of the things about being in the pro wrestling industry, brother, we already know about a lot of stuff. before it even comes out. And so a lot of us already knew what Vince was doing. We already knew. And I'll let you in on another secret too. There's more that hasn't came out. I don't know if it will come out, but there's more. So I, and by you bringing up Vinny, it seemed like I don't want, because I've been asked that before too. You're not the only one. I've had people say, well, you try to bring down another black man. And I'm not gonna lie, that pisses me off. Because I am one of the most non-racist people I know on this planet. I mean, like, I just don't see color. To me, right don't have color. Wrong don't have color. And the funny thing about that is when people call me that, and I think back when I've done my ancestry kit, and I look at some of the people who I'm linked to, and they're porcelain white, but we have the same blood. I look at each and every one of my kids, and they're all mixed. And I got 8. So it wasn't like it was a oops moment. You get me? It's not like it was a oops moment. I don't have 1 peanut butter and 7 chocolates. I don't have that. I have all peanut butter. I have all peanut butter. I'm gonna tell you a funny story too, Keon, before I get back to the video. Thank you for the rose, Gina. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And my little brother's in here, and he'll tell you. There's this one girl, and I won't dox her. Because she comes into the live from time to time. But I will tell you this: she's married. She's got 2 all YT kids. And I had showed up to the building that we was wrestling in that night, and her husband was on the card too. He wrestled it too, right? And I walk in, and some of the guys in the locker room was ribbing me when I came in. Ribbing means joking, playing around with stuff like that, pranking, stuff like that, right? Just so you all, in case of those that don't know. I came in, they was ribbing me, right? And it was like, oh, so you got 2 other kids? You got your kids are here is what they said. Your kids are here. And I knew my kids didn't come. It was just my wife and I. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, your kids. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And they told me what the girl had said, and she had told them that her son and her daughter, that they were G Smooth's kids. And I'm talking about her kids white as this fan. And all I could do was bust out laughing along with them too. We all just busted out laughing because there's no way that could be. But at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little flattering. It's a little Natty, that's my shade. It's a little flattering. You get me? Because if somebody has kids like that, and they still telling people that you their daddy, you must be one hell of a good person for anybody to want to do that. So that's why I say that. Natty, he with a YT woman. It explains everything. What does that explain, sir? That I'm with a YT woman? Because now you about to make me forget about this whole TikTok thing. What exactly are you saying? I'm a Sambo. So you think I'm less of a brother because I'm with a YT woman? You know, you the main reason. Let me read you before I get back on this. You the main reason society looks at us the way they look at us. You are the main reason why we get that kind of ridicule out there. You are the same reason and verified because of your ignorance. That's why we probably get called the N-word, because the N-word stands for ignorance. And you, sir, are displaying that right now. And I'm going to tell you, brother, I was all for you being on my shows. I enjoyed having you, regardless of our differences of opinion. I respected you enough to let it be that and still have respect for you. But the fact that you going to sit here and say that I'm less of a man, a black man, because I'm married to a white woman and I have interracial kids, brother, you picked the right one on the wrong day. So let me give you some attention, Keon. I am more of a man than you ever will be. Hell, my wife is more of a man than you will ever be. And you right, I don't sit with nobody like you, regardless of our skin color. I don't sit with guys like you because you are exactly that N-word that they call us, because you act ignorant. And TikTok, if you want to flag me, go ahead. I don't care. I'm getting this out. He asked for it. You are the exact reason. Let me tell you something about what I do, brother. I'm a brand ambassador for Whistleblower for Justice that fights for inmates that's wrongly convicted, that offers legal representation for them so they can be freed from that. I am part of that organization that stands up for inmates that are being mistreated while being incarcerated. What do you do besides get on here and speak your narrative of hate? What have you done to contribute to society? Let me walk you through the line a little bit more. When I have classmates that I went to high school with that has came back to our high school and coached for our high school football team for 20 plus years and keeps getting overlooked for the head coaching position, I'm the one that went to war with the school system. Me. My blackness is so more far blacker than yours on any given day at any given hour. But you see the thing about it, Keon, the reason why I, with my black skin tone, can sit down and delegate with the superintendent of a school district, with the mayor of my city, is because I know how to act. I don't see race. I'm educated. I'm not ignorant like you. And with that being said, my brother, you are no longer welcome in my platform ever again. Moderators, show him the door, please. Bye, Keon. Absolutely. Absolutely, you can, Natty. Would you like to come up and yeah, absolutely. Come on, Natty. And hijack the whole show. I'm sorry. Look, to the viewers in here, I'm sorry that we got there, and I normally wouldn't come out of pocket like that. But no, ain't no man finna do that to me.
I don't even know if he's still in here, and I don't usually box on TikTok or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to let Keon know, while you're out here bashing white women like me or black men that are with white women like me, I have gone to jail for assaulting a police officer, defending your rights, and standing up for when you are being treated unfairly. And you come in here with no rhyme or reason just to spew hate and talk down to other people for loving who they love.
Mm, mm. Hold on, girl. Let me get, let me get you on that. I'm sorry y'all had to look. I totally apologize to our listeners. I do. And I normally would never do nothing like that. But one thing I will never do is allow any of you all to be disrespected, nor myself be disrespected on my platform. He got me so mixed up. He got me so mixed up. I will never do that. I will never do that. I will forever love all races, all color, all creed, and I damn sure will love my wife and my kids, regardless of have you lost your mind? Listen. People, we gonna go on. And again, I apologize. And we gonna go on with the second segment. But please know something. This platform, I can't speak for nobody else on TikTok and what they do. But I'm gonna tell you right now, this platform is a safe space. This platform is about unity and love. This platform is about being just to the best of our ability. And as long as you are here with us, as long as you thank you, Jenny. I'm sorry, not Jenny. Gina, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm so mad. Thank you, Gina, for that heart me. I appreciate that, love. As long as you join us and fellowship with us here on hashtag, I'm gonna say it, you are protected. Period. Now as a matter of fact, they need to throw him on in there with Diddy too and not let him out. How about that? That's what they need to do. And little brother, I didn't get a chance to laugh, but it was funny. When you said, and take your complimentary bottle of J&J with you too. That was classic. That was classic. Listen, Natty, thank you for coming up and sharing that. Because he needed to hear. And look, he clearly found out that you was the right one on the wrong day. You understand? So that's gone. We took the trash out, put them on the curb. They'll pick them up tomorrow and take them on to the landfill where he belong with the other trash. Let's get back to the second segment. I love you all. I really do. I love you all.
What's going on, guys? Built this little
Hold
mini
on, we got a
gym
commercial.
area. That's where you
That made the commercial have to. The video had to take a break after that one.
Bail after the verdict in his sex trafficking case.
We love TikTok
Here's
Shop.
How he took
We
the
love
news.
that TikTok Shop.
According to NBC News reporters in the courtroom, Combs appeared, quote, deflated as his hopes
Jenny,
of
hey,
going
Bessie,
home
I'm
were
sorry, I didn't
seemingly
speak to
dashed
you. I'm so
as his
mad. I'm
lawyers
sorry.
attempted to convince Judge Aaron Subramanian to release their
Yes, these
client ahead of
commercials.
his sentencing. In his ruling, Subramanian cited Combs' years-long pattern of violence as a reason for him to remain behind bars, adding that he continues to be a danger to others and unable to follow the law. Arguing that Combs, who pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, as well as transportation to engage in prostitution, was acquitted on the three most serious charges of sex trafficking and
We
racketeering,
love
and
TikTok
only convicted of
Shop.
prostitution-related offenses.
We love
Defense
TikTok
attorney Mark
Shop.
Agnifilo insisted he should be released on appropriate conditions. As Agnifilo outlined, Combs would be willing to put up a $1 million cash bond, co-signed by his mom, Janice Combs, his sister, Keisha Combs, and Sarah Chapman, the mother of Combs' eldest daughter, Chance Combs, and have no access to his private plane, which is currently grounded in Maui. He also agreed to surrender his passport, undergo drug testing, and restrict travel to areas of New York, Florida, and California as necessary to attend court and meet with lawyers. According to NBC News, Combs was...
Bottom line, here's the bottom line, okay? When the judge says that the reason he's not letting him out is because he has proven that he is a violent threat to others, that he has shown himself to be incapable of following the law, yada, 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 The reason that I can confidently say that someone stepped in and
Patty
told
said he
the
has
judge to
150
not let him
cases
out is
still to
because
go through.
the judge
And
knows
two of
how
his
the court
sons
system
also.
works. He knows how
Facts.
the legal system
Facts.
works.
Thank you for the
Diddy was not
TGIF,
convicted of
bestie.
any violent crimes. He was acquitted of the violent crimes. Okay. He is not facing charges from any violent crimes. He has nothing as it relates to the legal system related to violence pending.
Thank you for the
Okay.
Scarab
Now,
and the
is there a
TikTok. I
superseding
appreciate
indictment
it.
that's coming down the pipe?
Ooh,
That's
yeah,
the
ice
only
cream
thing that I
cone.
can think of.
Thank you.
The only thing that could possibly explain what has happened is that there is a forthcoming superseding indictment that the judge knows about.
Pause. We all heard that, right? Angie B, baby, checking in from Liverpool, England. How are you doing, love? How are you doing? Everything good over that way? I love it when she comes in. She got that energy. Could that be true? Could we be seeing or waiting for another case like this? Let's rewind it a little bit for the Keonites.
Okay. Now, is there a superseding indictment that's coming down the pipe? That's the only thing that I can think of. The only thing that could possibly explain what has happened is that there is a forthcoming superseding indictment that the judge knows about. That is my current theory. Okay. Because the opposite, the alternative makes no sense. Okay. The alternative makes no sense. Honestly, I'm actually thinking about this right now. Here are your only two options. Your only two options are the big boys called him and he said, don't let him out because they wanted to bury him under the jail. And you can rest assured that he is going to get a harsh sentence now, a very harsh sentence. Okay. And
makes sense.
And again, this is all because this is coming. Oh, my Play with Matches. That's me and my wife's show. You should go follow that. The link is in the description. We actually just did a show about this also. Okay. But the bottom line is this, it's indefensible. It's indefensible to keep him locked up awaiting sentences. And you know when his sentencing is going to happen? October, July, August, September, October. So you're talking another 3.5 months in prison for what? In jail for what? Because an escort flew across the country to have sex with a
we love some TikTok shop now. They don't know, but we do.
Everybody involved is a willing participant.
Angie B says, I'm okay, thank you. Hope you're good. Do you think he'll get a harsh sentence?
And they determined,
that
they were willing.
Here's the thing I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say, Angie B. If any of these other lawsuits that are coming out right now come into play, especially the one that came out a few days ago or the day before the verdict was read, especially that one. And the reason why I say that one is because it lists, she stated in there that he has SA people that are not the age of consent. If thus far, if that one gets taken seriously and gets proven to be true, yeah, it's gonna be way bad, way bad, right? If that elite group chooses to serve as a buffer for him again, and he don't have to face them, these lawsuits is coming out now, he'll be out. I think it'll be time served. But yeah, if those, because you understand, people, there's still lawsuits coming out, so it's still not over. That's what I was trying to tell that lobster head man that was on here before we had to throw him out, is that it's still not over. You get me? But she said, Jenny said, I feel like the group raided his house to get them tapes. And that is a very accurate thing. That could very well have been it, because we do know they all participate in this kind of stuff. Not all, majority of. And when I say majority, I mean majority of the majority of. They all participate in this kind of stuff. They all do this kind of stuff. So, I could definitely see that being taken to keep their secrets. And I mean, what was it? What was his name? I did a show about it too. Daniel Baldwin, Alec Baldwin, and Steve. I think it's Steve Baldwin. brother, and he already told us that, hey, yeah, there's some people in Hollywood that's buying these tapes, so their wives and husbands don't see it, and to protect their career. So we already know that there's tapes floating around on the dark web, and that these people are already paying to keep their names and imagery off of, like they don't want it to get out. They're paying for it to not get leaked. They're doing settlements so it doesn't get leaked. So I wouldn't doubt that, Jenny, at all.
Participants, which means there are no victims here. None. These are victimless crimes. So how can you possibly justify it? Okay. So either they called and they were like, lock him up. Okay. Like keep him in jail, and the judge did it, or there is a forthcoming superseding indictment that is going to be much more, a lot more violent stuff coming, a lot of others, which is not even close to impossible, not even remotely close to impossible. And as a matter of fact, that is, as of this moment, my hypothesis. I can't, I literally just got there right now. Okay. So when you think about the fact, when you really get into the weeds of this thing and you think about like what was in this case and what wasn't, right? Like what was in this case and what wasn't? There are all these crazy accusations that Diddy has, right? All these things that are all over the place. And the only thing involved in this was 2 of his ex-girlfriends. Those are the supposed victims, 2 of his ex-girlfriends. Think about all of the things that we've heard he's accused of. We heard he shot a guy. We heard he had Tupac. We heard that he has been raping people all over the place. We heard he's been drugging people all over the place. We heard about kids at his parties. None of that stuff involved in this trial. The only thing that makes any sense is that there is a forthcoming superseding indictment that is going to.
Let me pause it real quick because he just made a comment that leads into what I was just saying. Like he just said, all of the things that we've heard allegedly. I had to say allegedly for the platform, but allegedly he's done. And then the last thing he said is what he's done with the people that aren't of age of consent, right? And like I said, the lawsuit that came out, I'm talking about the night before the verdict was read, she mentions that lawsuit. Out of all the lawsuits we know that was filed against him leading up to this, nobody other than a couple people who were kids at the time that they allegedly met him and said that he done things to them, nobody has mentioned it in their lawsuit. She did. And now this guy, and again, this is just his point of view, it's just his theory, it's not being proven, it's not true. Make sure we save that somewhere so we can have that as evidence. We are saying that this is just a theory. It hasn't been proven. We're not saying it's going to happen. We're just saying that it could possibly be. The timing of it. The bail gets denied. He doesn't get out. This lady saying that he done things with kids. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right, Jenny. I forgot. Lil Rod did mention something about some things going on. Remember, he was saying he'd send him out to get him, and I think it was Justin. I don't hold me on that, but I think he said it was Justin that he was send them out in Miami to get the girls that were not of age of consent. Remember? So I'm just saying. Yes, okay, yeah. So Justin, see, and Justin, this is his second lawsuit he got against him. The first one dropped. He got another one. Not to mention the Christian has one, and I forgot her name, but the lady that worked on the yacht, she's got her lawsuit filed against Christian. So come on, man, listen. It could possibly be
include a lot of that stuff.
That more is going to come out, and that's why they didn't release him.
Was acquitted of those things. They didn't try him for those things. They didn't indict him for those things. So
Patty said, yes, he does also. See?
What my hypothesis
Jenny
is,
said,
is
look
that
at his
there
boys.
is
They both have
another case
lawsuits.
coming.
See what I'm saying?
And while he thinks he beat this case, he didn't beat shit. He's being held, and before he even gets sentenced for this one, they're going to indict him on something else. Okay? Because again, bottom line, if these guys want you got, if they want you got, you're getting got, dude. Okay,
We're talking
like they
about
did
those
this trial.
higher up people.
Think about
again.
this. This whole trial was invented out of nothing. Like literally out of nothing. I mean, yeah, you have the video of him beating up Cassie for sure, but I mean, like in terms of sex trafficking,
We
it's
love TikTok
absurd.
Shop. We love
Ludicrous.
TikTok Shop. We love TikTok Shop.
Ludicrous. And you're telling me that there are no other cases that they could make out of all these other people who are willing to testify against him? There's tons of people who despise him that would testify against him in 1 second. You know what I mean? So the reality is like now, as of this moment, if I had to bet on what's coming for Puff, it's another case. It's another case. And another case that will drop on him before October when he's sentenced. So,
All right, another commercial. But hold on, we're almost finished, and then I'll let you all have your day.
those are my honest thoughts, dude. I mean, honestly, I think that's what's happening. Because and if not, even still, he's still going to get. I mean, he could face up to 10 years in prison for each count of the Mann Act, which is absurd. I mean, that is so crazy. I want you to seriously think about this, okay? If you, guy, okay, let's say guy, right? Or girls, whatever. Like, let's say you're single and you're going to Las Vegas and you have a lot of money and you're like, man, you know what would be great is if I don't feel like making a whole thing. I don't want to go to the clubs and like try to meet a girl or whatever. I just want to know for sure that I'm going to have a beautiful woman to spend the night with while I'm there. That's all I want, dude. And so you look through whatever sources that you have, you go on the internet or you call somebody who knows a service or whatever. And you look, you go online and you look at the website and it's a girl who's an escort. And she's like, here are my pictures, here are my rates, and you call her and you're like, so yeah, I'm coming into town. What I would love to do is I would like to do an overnight. She's like, okay, that's $7,000. It's like, okay, cool. Like that's cool. Let's do that. And I guess, so I'll call you when I get there. Yeah. Call me when you get there. We'll plan for whatever. You fly to I take that back. They would need to come to you. So you're like, I'll be in Las Vegas and that person's in Scottsdale. And so you go to Vegas, you fly them from Scottsdale, and they're going to spend the night with you in Las Vegas. You guys are obviously planning to have sex with each other.
We love TikTok Shop.
Like, you're telling me
It's amazing.
You deserve 10 years in prison for that? Who's the victim?
El
Like, who's the victim
I didn't know you was
Why
in
would
here. How you doing?
possibly deserve 10
She
years
said,
in
I
prison for that?
agree. Diddy's
You're
getting
not
more
cheating on
charges.
anyone, not that is illegal anyway, but you are participating in a completely willing exchange of goods and services. This is what this person does for a living. It's a beautiful girl. You're obviously a wealthy person if you're willing to spend that amount of money for one night with a girl. Everybody's happy. Everybody walks away happy. Why on earth would we take a person like that? Because I feel like people don't think that it's us doing this. Okay, like it's us. When you like, they're going to put them in prison. It's not them putting them in prison. It's us putting them in prison. We are the ones who set the rules. Okay, like collectively. Does that make sense? Is that a worthwhile is that a worthwhile use of our legal system? Some rich guy wants to hire some beautiful girl who's down to go hang out and have sex with a rich guy for that amount of money.
TikTok Shop again.
That's exactly what this is, except it's even worse because it's a dude that's getting hired. It's absurd. Okay, there's no reason that he should be in jail unless he is facing another charge, which is highly likely. Anyway, that's what I got for this video. I love you guys. Bye-bye.
All right, let's give it up for Jesse on Fire. That's my first time ever seeing the guy, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to subscribe to him. He's earned my subscription because he calls it down the middle. He calls it down the middle. Thus far, it's what I see. So I definitely. That's a possibility. That is a strong possibility. Now, we're not saying that it's going to happen. We're just saying it's a strong possibility. Natty, thank you for the let him cook. Yes, I appreciate it. And yes, let him cook as well. Like, he did great. Conveying that, staying neutral. And like I was trying to tell that joker that was in here, man, he's saying the same thing you're saying. Just listen to what he's saying on the back end, because that could very well be the reasons why he's not out. I always say, well, not always, a lot of times I say, when I'm closing out the show, that you could beat anything in the world, be somebody. Because that's my high school's motto, be somebody. We got that from our coach, one of the coaches that was there. But today I want to change it up a little bit. You can be anything in the world. Don't be a Keon. That's my message that's my closing message for today. All right. That's my closing message for today. Hey, check this out, man. You all, please be safe. Please be safe. Go out, enjoy, have fun with your family and all of that. But just be safe. Just be safe, right?
Tired of the silence.
I miss 4th of July in Omaha, in the heartland.
Another
I love
headline
that.
scream
But
behind vacant eyes.
I'm home. I'm back home.
They
So
build up their walls.
we're gonna have fun going to the square and watching
So
the
high and
fireworks,
so
right?
strong.
With my family.
But the truth's
But-
gonna break through.
Don't forget tomorrow
For too long.
we have Wrestle War
Every single day,
for Global
the same
Impact
damn
Wrestling.
game. Pointing
Make sure
all
you
the
go on
fingers, nobody
YouTube,
takes the
subscribe to
blame.
Global
This
Impact
pressure's
Wrestling
building,
TV,
it's starting to
and
crack.
follow
Ain't
along.
no turning
It's
back
at
now,
noon.
ain't no holding
Noon
back.
tomorrow. Noon
I'm about
Eastern
to say
Standard
it,
Time.
yeah, I'm about to scream. Tired of
Make
the
sure
fake
you all come and
smiles,
check it out.
living in a dream. The real
Alright?
life's bleeding.
It's gonna be a big show. It's our pay-per-view show. You don't really have to pay, you just have to come on and watch. But that's our pay-per-view show. Come and join us. Don't forget, as I stated before, Whistleblower for Justice. If need be, go and Google, research the organization. As I told you, and you heard me tell that jabroni, we try to be advocates. We're advocates for inmates that's being unjustly confined in prison and things like that. We fight for the living conditions that they're in and the health risk that it involves. The corruption of the prison guards and correctional officers, as well as partner with organizations and businesses that help these people when they get released from incarceration, give them the tools that they need to be successful citizens in society again. You got to understand, it's a definite change for them. A lot of these people have been in there for decades, so a lot of things in life has changed in the outside world, so they have to get reacclimated with that, along without reoffending, right? So let's give it up for Whistleblower for Justice organization on that, for doing that. It's free to care. It's free to love. Yes, follow hashtag True Podcast on here, TikTok, as well on YouTube. Go in, if you miss episodes you hadn't joined already, go and follow them, go subscribe to them. My interview is on there. I'm sure my little brother will be on there soon. It just spotlights independent pro wrestlers, former wrestlers and current wrestlers. So go and check that out. Go and check that out, man. Shout out to Scott on that. And again, I don't remember Cowboy Bob's platform. I got to get that and plug him as well. Those that have put in your orders for the hashtag I'm Gonna Say It Church, I got them coming. Don't worry. If you haven't, but you would like to order one, please inbox me. We'll go over the details. I'll tell you how to purchase that. If you would, and again, thank you for the support. I appreciate you all. Like I said, you all's presence here is a gift to us, and we are so blessed and highly favored and thankful for your presence. Right? I've been your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter, Mr. Breaking News, reporting from the newsroom. Peace and blessings to you all. I love you. I don't know how I'm still on. They don't want me to leave. Y'all take care.